Bullshit.
Be authentic. You've probably heard how authenticity is the way to go today. Well, I'm going to walk you through ways to avoid some bullshit around that. It's the No Bullshit Marketing Show. I'm Dave Mastovich, and authenticity can't be a strategy because that would be inauthentic. What I'm saying is, I hear companies, leaders of companies, I hear people that work in the political space, people in the sports world, people in the media say that our strategy is to be authentic. If you're consciously thinking about being authentic, you're reducing the likelihood that you're going to be authentic. Now, I'm not completely saying you shouldn't ponder what makes you authentic. You absolutely should. But then it's about being that person and conveying that message for your company. Give you a couple of examples. Work with one client that the leader is a big burly guy with a big heart. Has an engineering background, so he's super detail oriented. What we want to do is help him convey the competitive advantage that he and his team bring for that company on the standpoint of being precise and specific and detailed, because that is what that company's all about. So that's not saying let's be authentic. That's saying we research to find out what your customers thought made you special and what you thought made you special and what you have a track record of. Now, go a step further. That leader, who is the big burly guy who also had the heart of gold, but is pretty detailed, we want to have him showing that side of his life outside of work to convey that authenticity about how he's still detailed and still an engineer in everything he does in his life, but he's also a family man. He's also a community person, and he's also heartfelt. And so those are two different things, is the brand position and the individual's personal brand position. Both are authentic, but it isn't saying we made authenticity a strategy. What we did was we looked at what made that person real and asked them how they live those aspects of what makes them real, and then tell that story. Because when it's manufactured, when authenticity is supposedly a strategy, it comes off as not authentic. We can tell, because the biggest thing that I've said throughout my career about marketing, messaging, and storytelling is never underestimate both the intelligence and the stupidity of us. So, what do I mean by that? Well, we figure it out in the long run. The masses figure it out in the long run. We figured out about products. We figured out about companies. We figured out about leaders. We figured out about people. We figure out about policies. But then I also say never underestimate the gullibility, is probably a nicer word, of the American public, because we also can be somewhat easily manipulated initially. There's all these historic stories of going way back to when I was a kid, the pet rock. The pet rock was this manufactured way to make millions. And you still see that today. But we do figure it out in the long run. So never underestimate the ability of humans to figure it out, but never underestimate that you might be able to fake them out a little bit initially. The point is, authenticity isn't about saying we're going to be strategically authentic, have authenticity. We're going to make it a strategy. No, being authentic is about being authentic. Another example that I would give you from a successful client engagement that's more than a client. When you're able to do this, you become more than a vendor. You become a partner. You become a friend. And I don't want to use that term loosely because I don't have a lot of friends. I don't see that to say that I'm inept. I say that because a true friend is someone that really is, you're inviting them to things and they're inviting you to things and you're a part of each other's lives. So I don't use it as loosely as many people do because they use it inauthentically. Oh, it's my friend, that's my buddy, when it's just an acquaintance. But I have multiple clients that have become friends because we're able to work together and appreciate what each other brings to the table. So this other story is about a financial guru, and she's leading a team where she has to convey to people that she can be trusted about their financial strategies. Well, the beauty of this is she's really smart, super detailed, and also is able to avoid risk for her clients, but she's a mom first. So we want to make sure that we tell the company story in an authentic manner about how they are able to grow your investments and also keep you protect your investments. But think about how a mom is protective, and this person is able to convey that in her personal brand. So you look at those two examples, and they're both whenever you're figuring out what makes you unique. What is your why? And what is your customer's why? Those two why questions being answered enable you to come up with one big idea. And that's what you authentically are. And the way you find out the answers to those two why questions is not just on instincts. That's what far too many people do, is they rely just on the instincts of themselves and maybe a couple other team members. To really answer the two why questions, you need to talk to people and listen, and you have to get outside people to gather insights. Because if you keep it in that vacuum and you're only talking to each other, which I've seen thousands, yes, I'm old enough now to say that I've seen it with thousands of companies that we've worked with where they're insulated. So they aren't really understanding what is authentic about them. They're saying what they think or what they hope is what makes them different. So those two why questions are finding out your why, talking to your leadership team, talking about your origin story, talking to employees, talking to people that refer to you, centers of influence, and talking to strategic partners, vendors, and listening. But then also going out and talking to your customers. And your customers are employees and your customers are referral sources, but your customers are customers. People actually cut checks for you. Those are those two why questions that you systematically gather insights to find out the answers to those two why questions. Then that it's going to be readily apparent to you what your big idea is. And that big idea is what makes you authentic. So you then live by that big idea. And you can do the same thing with your personal brand. Give an example. Mass Solutions is all about bold solutions, no BS. We did the systematic gathering of insights. We asked all those parties, employees, referral sources, centers of influence, strategic partners, vendors, past clients, current clients, potential clients. And we did the hard thing. We shut up and listened, and we actually had outside party combined with our insight gathering. And we found people said again and again, they get shit done on time and on budget. They cut through the nonsense, they cut through the bullshit and figure out how to drive growth, sales growth, and professional growth of your team members, growth in your talent acquisition. That's the things we heard again and again and again. That's when we came up with bold solutions, no BS, and we're the world's only no bullshit marketing company. And I'm the no bullshit marketing guy. So that is authentic. It's not fake, it's not bullshit. But my personal brand, I jokingly say, is I'm a former DJ who loves storytelling and tequila. Well, being a former DJ, why do I bring that up? I love music, but I really love the impact that music has on others. I like to watch that happen. I was in New York City with my son Carter, where he goes to school. And we went to this bar, and this DJ was spectacular. He was able to motivate the entire crowd and get them engaged by using multiple decades. I actually sat down and said he went through 6 different decades of clips where he played 3 or 4 songs from each. Went up and talked to him afterwards, and we were two DJs, a former one and a current one. And he was so flattered and excited that a DJ recognized all he was doing. I was talking about the songs that he was playing. I liked how you did that segue. So I love how it makes an impact on people. And that's why it's important to me to say, I'm a former DJ who loves storytelling because that impacts people. And tequila, well, I love tequila because you know why. So I love tequila. So I'm a former DJ who loves storytelling and tequila. I don't have to ever worry. You can wake me up at 3 in the morning and I'm authentically a former DJ who loves storytelling and tequila. I'm a dad first, but the rest is all about how I love storytelling. I love marketing. I'm passionate about marketing. So I'm able to be authentic without ever saying I'm authentic. So that's the essence of what I tried to convey today in this episode is that saying that authenticity is a strategy can't really be the case because then it becomes inauthentic. Take the time to do the hard work. Go beyond your little vacuum of people. Systematically gather insights to answer the two why questions, your why or reason for being, and your customer's why or reason for buying. Answer the two why questions. Come up with your big idea. That drives your core values and what you convey to the market. That drives your storytelling. That drives your company brand. Then do the same thing to drive your personal brand. Thanks for listening or watching to the No Bullshit Marketing Show. More coming in the future.
Bullshit.